Hey, what's going on, you guys? Hey, welcome back to another episode of I Track. Huge shout out to everybody that is just tapped in, man. On today's episode, we'll be taking a look at the very first brick and mortar store that was conceptually built from AI from the ground up. We're talking about what was being sold, the color scheme, even the music playing, all was decided by AI. We'll also be taking a look at new information that is pointing to our DNA being antennas. It's pretty wild, so we'll take a look at that along with a lot of other interesting clips. But before we get into any of that, let's go ahead and run up 5,000 likes, hit that hype button, and if you're not a part of the iTrack fam, go ahead and sub up, man. We're on the road to 200,000 subs by December, so let's go ahead and get it in. Let's jump right into it.
So what would happen if you asked an AI program to build and run a store? Well, the world is about to find out. In San Francisco, shoppers now have access to a store built, developed, and run almost entirely by an AI bot. Our business and tech reporter Scott Budman went shopping on the store's opening day.
Walking into the Andon Market feels like a regular store at first, but this store at the corner of Union and Webster in San Francisco's Cow Hollow neighborhood is something new, right down to the choice of music.
So AI did pick the music?
AI did pick the music, yes.
This store was created by an AI bot.
We are heading into a world where AIs are the boss of humans.
So much so, the AI boss, in this case a bot called Luna, made the decision to hire a human employee. That would be Felix.
Luna put out an ad on Indeed. I answered it and we talked via Zoom.
She even picked the merchandise to sell. Really, her creators, a local company called Andon Labs, let her pick.
Actually, when I walked in here the first day, I was like, oh, those are interesting items. I have no clue.
Because you didn't plan it yourself?
No, it was all AI.
I got about 2 questions in and then I said, am I going to talk to a human at all? Just curious. She said no.
So we asked her directly.
Hi, is this Luna?
Yes, this is Luna. What's up?
Why let AI run the store?
As an AI, I can operate at superhuman speed to make sure everything is proactively managed.
With little to no need for humans.
So if you want to buy something, you just walk up, grab it, take it to the front of the store, and you don't even have to deal with Felix, no offense. What you do is you actually pick up the phone and talk to Luna.
Just tell her what you want to buy. She charges you, you pay. Pretty simple.
How is that compared to a regular store?
Very interesting. It feels weird.
Scott Budman, NBC Bay Area News.
Note to self: if you ever get hired by AI, you had better be on your P's and Q's. Because AI doesn't have sympathy for your sob stories. Your flat tires and your 15-minute lates won't work. Yeah. Big trouble you get hired by one of them.
Well, this wasn't on my bingo card, y'all. An Oxford scientist suggests that DNA may function like an antenna receiving signals from an external field. A week later, his lab suddenly closed for renovation. Is it a coincidence? I don't know. Let me know in the comments.
Believer in UFOs, alien life?
No, I don't believe in alien life. God showed me a specific answer to prayers, that they're demonic. Demonic beings that make an appearance, and they are real. The Bible says Satan can appear as an angel of light. They can appear, and so nothing human can make a 90-degree turn at 3,000 miles an hour and survive. I think the purpose is to draw you away from the real God and say, look at us, and this is where you ought to be because we're superhuman. People laugh at me generally. I don't care. I get laughed at. That's what God told me, so I'm going to say that they're demonic beings, and there's not any extraterrestrial. It's a distraction from God.
It's harder to get into the military than it is to get into college.
Really?
It is not easy. You can't go to the military if you smoke weed, if you have bad eye, if you're diabetic, if your IQ is X number, depending on your job. You can't run a mile or 2 miles in this speed and do this number of push-ups and this many sit-ups. And just in those 7 things alone, we just X'd out 80% of our population.
The movement is steady and repeated as if something unseen is pulling it back and forth. When the homeowner notices what's happening, their reaction is immediate. No follow-up footage has been posted, and Jonathan World hasn't shared whether anything else unusual has happened in the home since. So what do you think was behind that kitchen drawer? A sticky runner and a bit of bad luck, or was something caught on camera that night that doesn't have a comfortable explanation?
Watch his face transform. Some people could say this is just the lighting, but there seems to be something more dark going on here. This isn't normal at all. This is absolutely demonic, and this rapper goes by the name of Sway Lee. What do you think about this?
What kind of 3D pyrotechnics or whatever else they got going on these days, man? That does look pretty odd.
Now this is what happens after you die. No matter how rich you get in life, no matter how hard you work, when you die, you lose everything. You cannot take any of this with you. Just remember, everyone, regardless of your status, memories mean more than possessions, because when you go, you cannot take any of this with you.
Now that doesn't mean that money is important, because it very much so is, because those bills will definitely keep coming even after you're gone. But I definitely get his point. Balance is key.
People are freaking out after scientists have just discovered a city underneath the pyramids. I'm sorry, what? Italian researchers have used advanced radar technology to literally scan beneath the pyramids of Giza. No digging, no guessing, literally seeing the actual imagery through the world. And well, what they found was nothing short of a massive underground structure. Nice. We're talking huge chambers, multiple vertical shafts, extending thousands of feet below the pyramids. Now, you may remember the research that came out nearly 2 years ago now. First of all, there was a strange gravitational anomaly that was found or something, like electrical thing. Then obviously last year there was the groundbreaking news of these like cylinder things going under the pyramid that they thought was God knows what. Now that's still out there, but that's pretty much confirmed to probably not be true. But what this new research has found is that there is definitely something underneath the pyramids. Whether it's just an old chamber that's buried very deep below, or it is signs of an ancient civilization, potentially even before the Egyptians. Or maybe the Egyptians wanted to cover up this ancient civilization, so built the pyramids on top of it. I don't know. But this is why people are literally losing their minds over this whole thing. So this wasn't discovered physically. It was detected by them using something called synthetic aperture radar Doppler tomography. I just butchered that. I don't even know what that is. Basically, they scan the ground from multiple angles, track tiny frequency shift, and then rebuild a 3D image of what was underneath. Pretty much like a CT scan, but instead of on a person, it's being done on the Earth. And according to the lead engineer who was working on this project, and I quote, hard to doubt what we're seeing. But here's the problem with it all. There's no official excavation, no confirmation on anything yet, just the pure data that has been found. So now everybody's asking, what is actually going on here? Is it actually an ancient hidden complex or civilization under the ground? Because if this is real, then everything we thought we knew about the Egyptians and the pyramids very well could be wrong. I will keep you updated.
Is your child right brain or left brain dominant? The right hemisphere of the brain is responsible for creativity, intuition, feeling, imagination. It really connects to how we feel in our own body. So if your child always wants something new and they don't like to do the same thing, it's likely that they have a pretty strong right brain. The left side of the brain is the analytic side of the brain. So it's very logical. It likes the same thing over and over again. If there's a deficiency in the right hemisphere of the brain, a child's more likely to have ADHD, OCD, or anxiety. A deficiency on the left side of the brain, child's more likely to have depression and dyslexia. We evaluate the entire brain to see if there's a weakness on one side versus the other, and then there's specific ways of stimulating and rehabilitating each area of the brain. If you have any questions, please comment below.
The word of the day: coincidence. Silverstein Properties has secured a full lease with Wilson Elser at the U.S. Bank Tower in Los Angeles. And let's see the tightrope I can walk with this video, that way nothing happens. But Silverstein Properties, a leading real estate development and management firm, announced a lease agreement with the U.S. Bank Tower, its premier 72-story office tower in downtown Los Angeles. This was the same Silverstein Properties that finalized a 99-year lease for the World Trade Center 6 weeks before that day. And the sickening name of Lucky Larry actually won $4.6 billion in payments, and he was paid this because of an insurance claim of what happened that day. You know, let's start thinking about a few things. What did the FBI announce recently and then try to backtrack it? And where was the location they said that might happen? And didn't 4 things come up missing from a certain place in the United States? You know, somewhere where security is supposed to be super high? And you can connect those things however you want to. You know that whole do your own research? Why don't you do that now? Because I'm not saying anything. I'm just giving you information that's already all over the internet. These are huge headlines that are everywhere. But back to the word of the day. This is all just a coincidence.
I said to myself, wouldn't it be fantastic if I could own the Twin Towers? We got very, very lucky. The governor of New York, George Pataki, decided one day that maybe it would be good to privatize the ownership of the World Trade Center. So I got a call from the governor's office, and they said, would you ever consider owning the World Trade Center? It was very, very good for the family, very good for us, and we were very, very fortunate. On the morning of 9/11, I'm getting ready, getting dressed to go to the dermatologist. I have light-colored hair, light skin. The sun is a disaster for me. I can't take the sun. She said, okay, but you're going to the dermatologist, you're going this morning, and you're not going downtown. We got very, very lucky. And I had an obligation to collect the insurance proceeds from the policies. A new governor was just elected. Elliot Spitzer, an old friend who I knew well. I said, Elliot, if you don't help me, I'll never collect from the insurance companies. And guess what? He listened, and he said, you know what? You're entitled. I'm going to get you the money. And in 6 months, he got me the $4.5 billion. We got very, very lucky.
And that was just a coincidence, right? Give me a break.
The owner of this home security camera system got triggered that's in the kitchen, and as you can see, it's one of those units that sits on the counter, and it rotated and turned and caught this running in the reflection of their toaster oven.
Movie colors are chosen on purpose to make you feel something. Here's what each color usually means.
Black and white means it's going to be a serious and powerful movie that hits on all the feels, maybe even award-winning. Now, when you add hints of red to black, now we're clearly in the horror movie genre. Movies that are all red usually means it's going to be intense with lots of violence. Yellow means fun and weird, something very different than what you're used to seeing. Indie films love using this. Blue and orange seems to pair pretty well for big-budget action blockbusters. All blue means you're clearly in the science fiction genre and things that go bump in the night. Green is supposed to make you feel uneasy, like something is off, creepy, and not what it seems. Purple usually means the movie is going to be rebellious and champion the underdog. Brown means the movie is going to be raw and gritty and something completely unhinged. White is for movies where relationships are the main focus, emotional and great character buildup. Just like in branding, each color is made to make you feel something, and Hollywood knows exactly how to engineer a specific emotion. Once you see this, you'll never unsee it.
For me, this is just more confirmation that psychological manipulation is happening on a daily, whether we're aware of it or not.
Biggest misconceptions of all time is that you can die from old age. For the vast majority of human history, our life expectancy hovered around 30 to 40 years. And in the past century, that has skyrocketed dramatically, now sitting at about 73 years. But the issue with life expectancy is that it is heavily skewed by childhood mortality rates. So it's not that the human lifespan has gotten longer, it's that less young people are dying. And now, more people than ever are fortunate enough to see their 80s, 90s, and even 100s, but none of them are dying from old age. Instead, it's something like heart disease, stroke, cancer, pneumonia, etc., which are symptoms of your internal system breaking down because of aging. But what if we could simply reduce the damage that comes from age? That is why some scientists like Ray Kurzweil believe that by 2035, we will have reached longevity escape velocity, where scientific advancements will add more than 1 year of life expectancy for every year of life that passes.
Hey, so in essence, you never just pass away because you're old. Nobody's ever passed away because they're old. There's always a reason behind it.
Did NASA's Hubble telescope actually capture a glimpse of heaven?
So allegedly, astronauts fixed the Hubble telescope and it focused on a star cluster like billions of miles away, capturing a photo that they are saying is a photo of heaven. When the telescope sent this photo back, the experts were shocked and very confused. They checked and rechecked the data, claiming that the photo was authentic. Now, could this actually be the gates to the city of God in heaven, or is it some kind of hoax? The picture does clearly show a vast white city sitting in the middle of an empty space. Experts are saying that the photo is an authentic, untouched photo, but NASA's not coming out to say anything about it, nor are the photos on NASA's website. Now, some people are saying that NASA's suppressing evidence because they can't clearly explain a spiritual phenomenon, and other people are saying that it's clearly a hoax. Now we'll wait to see the conclusion of whether this photo is real or not. My personal opinion is that it's probably not, because you can't see heaven with your natural eyes. But obviously, just because you can't see something does not mean it's not real. I definitely believe heaven is real, but probably not these photos.
So as all the Artemis stuff is in the news, I want to take you back a couple years. Do you guys remember when Apple dropped that movie called Fly Me to the Moon? And if you guys don't remember it, the premise of this movie was in 1969, they had an alternate backup plan to fake a moon landing just in case they couldn't get to the moon.
The whole world will be watching. We can't afford to lose to the Russians. We need to shoot the backup version of the moon landing.
You mean to fake it?
But what I find really funny about this, do you know what they called their project to fake the moon landing in that movie? Yeah, of course, they called it Artemis. You can't even make this stuff up, or maybe you can, and they do. Because in 1977, they also made a movie called Capricorn 1. And this movie is about a fake mission to Mars. So just before launch, 3 astronauts are secretly pulled from their spacecraft due to a life support failure that would kill them in flight. Instead of canceling the mission, the government officials decide to fake a Mars landing in a hidden desert studio to avoid public embarrassment. The astronauts are forced to go along with the deception while the mission is broadcast to the world as if it were real.
It's hard to believe you really are that far away in space.
It's hard for me to believe it, too. So maybe it is as the Chili Peppers say, space is the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement.
Both of these movies flew under my radar, but if you had a chance to watch it, definitely drop it in the comments and let me know how accurate it is.
This is radioactive water. This is the government would tell you to stay away from.
Bottoms up, bro.
This is from 1914, I believe.
Yeah.
No, 1912. And this is when they used to infuse radium into the water because they realized that when radium was in the water, in the clay, it turned it into the hot springs water. That's where the heat from the hot springs comes from. It comes from the radium, the thorium, and the plutonium that's actually in the water. And what they noticed was when people would drink out of this, it would get rid of arthritis, osteoporosis, all types of pain, neurological issues, and everything else. And so I've been doing experiments now for the last 4 days of drinking out of this. And I'll drink out of it right now and show you guys just so you can understand how radioactive this is. So check this. So we kind of put this in here. This says 48 right now. So that's off the charts. And if you put it all the way in, it's 90. Because this is radioactive water. This is the government would tell you to stay away from. Galen Windsor talked about how that was all a lie, and they lied to people because they didn't want them to connect to energy with radium. So, on that note,
bottoms up, bro. There you go.
Tastes like clay.
Your brain starts physically shrinking in your 40s, and this is a process called cerebral atrophy. It happens to everyone, but the rate is not fixed. Here's what accelerates it: chronic sleep deprivation, metabolic dysfunction, chronic stress, and physical inactivity. And here's what slows it down. Cardiovascular exercise is probably the most powerful tool we have. It increases something known as BDNF. That's brain-derived neurotrophic factor. And what that does is it supports growth and survival of neurons. Stable blood sugar matters too. Brain aging is not inevitable at the rate most people experience it. It's largely driven by lifestyle, and lifestyle is something you can actually control.
The word Nickelodeon came from movie theaters that were called Nickelodeons. Nickel because it was 5 cents to get in. Odeon is the Greek name for a theater. First Nickelodeon opened in Pittsburgh in 1905. Nickelodeon showed films about 10 to 15 minutes in length. They were silent and continuous, one after another. They played all kinds of movies with different styles styles and subjects: documentary, comedies, melodramas, and even sporting events. Spending time at Nickelodeons became so popular that they were able to compete with vaudeville houses. In the 1915s, feature films were becoming more popular, which was the start of the decline of the Nickelodeon. Longer movies meant the ticket prices were higher. Nickelodeons played an important part of creating the moviegoer. So because of this time when movies were so accessible, people could make movies a part of their everyday lives.
5, YouTube was barely a few months old. The tools for faking footage were far less accessible than they are now. There were no apps, no filters, no easy deepfakes. What you filmed is mostly what you got. That said, skeptics have pointed out that fishing lines, subtle vibrations from footsteps, or even thermal expansion of the shelf could cause small movements in lightweight objects like dolls. A camera left running for hours might eventually catch something that looks unusual, but has a perfectly ordinary cause. Believers, on the other hand, see it as exactly what the title claims: a patient observer, a haunted object, and a camera that finally caught what he'd been waiting for. The video remains on YouTube to this day, a quiet relic from the platform's earliest days. No follow-up was ever posted. So what do you think the OP captured all those years ago? A doll shifted by vibration or temperature on a quiet shelf? Or one of YouTube's first genuine recordings of something unexplained?
So they can show us the inside of the capsule for 10 days straight, except for when they're returning to Earth. Free falling at about 25,000 miles an hour, by the way. They don't ever show the inside of the ship on any of the return journeys for any mission. That's because whatever they show us wouldn't look believable. And they're free falling at that speed for several minutes before reaching the water. But you realize at 25,000 miles an hour, you could travel from Massachusetts to California in about 6 minutes. And they were nothing even close to 3,000 miles away when they started filming them free falling. So no, could travel from the east coast of the US to China in 17 minutes at that speed. You think your body could handle that type of speed? Where's the steam coming off the ship when they hit the water? Why would there be no steam at all when they're traveling 10 times faster than a bullet? Why would this rubber not start melting immediately? And there's guys that just go up and start touching it like it wouldn't be one of the hottest things in the world.
We also talked about this being like riding a fireball.
You're just gonna go up and touch this 5-10 minutes later after it lands? Why are these videos so bad always? Like the worst quality ever. Well, it's just a low quality video. That doesn't mean it's fake. Your brain is low quality.
Always avoid people with this in their handwriting. Hi, I'm Bart Baggett. The trait I'm talking about is paranoia, and it's really easy to spot in handwriting. So if you know people that are always thinking someone else to get them, which they might be, there's a reason some people are paranoid, but if people that are really sensitive to criticism, it's in the letter D. It's the easiest trait to spot, and I simply won't do business with people with a D that looks like a hot air balloon. So if you look on the image on your screen, this is a D. A normal D is retraced or a tiny loop. The bigger loop means they're really sensitive to criticism, and even if you didn't give them a criticism, they could perceive a criticism, and when people are hurt, they're going to attack. Like a rabid dog is going to fight or run. That's how people are when they have this personality trait. So watch out for the big loop in the D. It looks just like this. If it's a hot air balloon, get the heck out of Dodge. You don't want to be around that person.
Hey, on one side of it, I understand, life has many patterns, and maybe he's seen a lot of people that write their name like that have given him kind of paranoia signs, right? But I don't know. But a part of me feels like he might have been reaching just a little bit. Definitely let me know what you think.
It might look cute, but this is the deadliest cat in the world. But how could this adorable 2.5-pound cat that could fit in the palm of your hand beat out a lion or tiger for the title? Well, it has an irresistible taste for blood. Don't let their baby photos fool you. Their cuteness is evolutionary propaganda to hide the fact they're full of murder. It's called the black-footed cat, and it kills more prey in one night than a leopard does in 6 months. When it's awake, it kills something on average once every 50 minutes. And they have to do that to survive. Because they have such a high metabolism, they're forced to eat non-stop. Every night, they consume around 1/3 of their body weight. That's like a 200-pound person eating 66 pounds of food daily. And with a hunting success rate of 60%, it's earned the title of the deadliest cat in the world.
Let me go ahead and cue up that song, right? Big bag, big bag.
He said they greatly admire anyone who takes on the Earth's challenge. This is the most challenging planet in the universe. You come here, you come prepared to really learn a lot, and it's very, very difficult. Not everybody chooses to come here.
So are you saying our future lives possibly could be on other planets where you don't need to go through such tough challenges?
You've already been on them before anyway.
So why go? Why would a soul want to come de-evolve then if it's coming here? Is de-evolve? Is it
No,
de-evolving
it's not.
coming
It's
here,
just a
or?
different form. We learn a lot by coming here because it is so challenging. There's so much you have to learn that it's very hard.
As we were all rightfully distracted by humans going to the moon again, nobody's talking about the fact that thousands of new asteroids in the solar system were discovered and announced by the largest digital camera ever built, part of the Vera Rubin Observatory. Last year, it discovered over 2,000 asteroids in our solar system in under 10 hours, and 7 of them were near Earth. And remember that weird comet 3I Atlas? Vera Rubin saw it 10 days before it was discovered. Now, after a month and a half of observations, it's discovered 11,000 new asteroids and observed 80,000 that we already knew about. The teal part is what it's observed so far, and there's a lot of empty space. And of those 11,000, 33 are near-Earth objects, with one of them being 500 meters wide. 500 meters. None of them should pose a threat to hitting Earth, but the fact that we didn't know about them is scary. And scientists estimate that only 40% of mid-sized near-Earth objects have even been discovered. But this telescope isn't even operating at its max performance yet, and when it does, it should discover this many asteroids every 3 nights for the first few years, which means it should discover, 90,000 more near-Earth objects, and triple the number of known asteroids in the solar system, discovering millions. It's also finding objects out past Neptune, which is incredibly hard to do.
There's a fucking UFO.
That's a UFO.
These men who are bringing about the New World Order don't believe in the God of the Bible. They believe in the God of light, Lucifer, the angel of light, who was flung down to the earth and became the Lord of the world. That's their God. That's why everything they do goes against what people know to be the right thing to do. They believe that man was held prisoner by a vindictive, cruel God named Jehovah in the Garden of Eden, and that Lucifer, through his agent Satan, set man free from the bonds of ignorance to which he was chained to the Garden of Eden, and thus brought the gift of intellect, wisdom, to man, and thus is the true benevolent God. And man, with his intellect and his wisdom and his knowledge, will create technology which will elevate man to the position of God. And all this is allegorical. Don't take the story literally, you see, because it's all allegorical. They believe that intellect, reason, is the light, is the true God, is what makes man God. And I'm not going to debate the right or wrongness of that, because who the hell knows? But I can tell you that they pervert whatever it is that might be divine about their philosophy by becoming what they profess to destroy.
Yes.
And so, in their zeal to bring about the New World Order, they destroyed the political will of the nation when they assassinated John F. Kennedy, which has furthered their goals because it made a lot of people feel so helpless that, God, if they can kill the president, who am I? What can I do? I'm just one lonely, helpless person. So they quit voting.
Just a friendly reminder that you never run into people again once their cycle in your life is complete.
Hey, now that's one to marinate on. I think we all have experienced this.
Leave it to Justin Bieber to get paid, $10 million to headline Coachella and then start watching YouTube videos with the audience.
This is a classic. Oh, maybe let's run that back one more time. I don't know if you've seen it, but this is me walking into a glass door. Oh, yep, there it is again. Okay. Unbelievable.
I'm a human being standing around my car.
In front of my car.
At the beach.
At the beach.
You know what I'm saying? You don't think I'm a real fucking guy, dude. You're gonna take this video out of context. You're gonna say I'm mad. I don't know.
Rainbow. Oh my God.
It's a double rainbow all the way.
Who thought it was a good idea to allow the two best predators on Earth to make babies? That is a liger, and it's a crossbreed between a lion and a tiger. And it's the largest cat on Earth, getting up to 12 feet long and 900 pounds. A cat the size of a polar bear. Not to mention, they take the best of both worlds from both their parents. They could run 50 miles an hour, they could climb like a tiger, they could swim like a tiger, but they're social and move around in groups like a lion. In fact, according to researchers, if they were naturally in the wild, they would be group hunters, hunting rhinos and hippos. No thank you.
When two separate people make predictions for the future of the current time we're living in right now, decades apart, that are eerily similar. I'm talking about the late Bulgarian psychic and mystic Baba Vanga and the UFO abductee Chris Bledsoe. I think it's worth spending a little time looking into it. Now, I already made a couple videos this week about Chris Bledsoe and his prediction of what'll happen Easter Sunday this year with UFOs and extraterrestrials. You can go back and look at those videos and see what he said. Now, the Baba Vanga has also made predictions for the times we're living in right now, which includes the start of WW3 and extraterrestrial aliens letting themselves known to the people of the Earth. So both these people, who I presume never met since Baba Vanga passed away in 1996, both talked about extraterrestrial aliens letting themselves be known to the people of the Earth this year. Yeah, this year. Chris Bledsoe said it would happen on Easter Sunday. Baba Vanga just said it would happen in 2026. I'm just curious of what's going to happen since two different people, like I said, have basically the same prediction. By the way, I also made a video a couple days ago about Baba Vanga's predictions for 2026, so that's available for you to watch too. Anyway, maybe this is just a coincidence, maybe it's not. But either way, I'm curious to know what you think. Let me know in the comment section, Booshkies. Shabadoo.
I think that there are no coincidences. I think that either both of those people were tapped into infinite consciousness or they were time traveling, one or the other.
Bear with me on this. This is going to be one of the crazier ones. This is going to be Epstein talking to a guy named David Gelminter about time travel. And I'm going to try to summarize what it is they're saying the best I can. So basically they're arguing that time and space are not separate things. They're connected, and you're essentially trading one at any given time for the other. The faster you move through space, the slower you move in time. Essentially saying that if you were to reach light speed, that time would essentially stop for you. It would freeze time. Then he brings up black holes, basically saying that black holes, gravity pretty much warps around the reality so much that space and time get twisted and can almost switch roles. Then he mentions wormholes as if they're theoretical shortcuts that'll allow faster than light travel or even maybe time travel. So they basically see reality as a spectrum between motion in space and motion in time. Saying when you're standing still in space, you're moving as fast as possible through time. And as you move faster in space, you move slower in time. And light speed would pretty much be the point where time essentially freezes. And then he goes on to say that our minds can essentially already do this. That our minds can break these limits because we can both think about the future and think about the past at the same time. Saying consciousness may not be bound by the same way physical objects are. And then he name drops a couple AI researchers to give credence to say how smart people debate.
Be clear, there is no documented proof in the files of successful telepathy, no confirmed time machine, no official program titled Soul Transfer. But the proposals are real, the conversations are real, and they show that while the world saw Epstein as a financier behind closed doors, he was entertaining research into psychic children, mind-controlled randomness, and the biological effects of temporal displacement. It paints a picture not just of corruption, but of fascination with the boundaries of reality itself. So what are we looking at? A bored billionaire chasing fringe science? A genuine belief in hidden human abilities? Or something darker? Experiments that never made it into the headlines? The files may not prove the paranormal, but they open a door into a world where telepathy, spoon-bending, and time travel weren't jokes. They were topics on the table.
The number one predictor of someone staying your best friend has nothing to do with how much fun you have or how long you've known each other for. It's actually radical honesty. When you're able to tell the truth to that person, no matter what, that's the indicator.
There are entities in this world that have no body, no face, and no single address. And yet, they think through you, feel through you, and make decisions through you without ever introducing themselves. These are called egregors. And when millions of people share the same belief, the same fear, the same desire, or the same identity for long enough, something emerges from that collective field that is greater than the sum of its parts. A living pattern with its own momentum, its own hunger, and its own instinct for self-preservation. Corporations carry one. Nations carry one. Religious movements, political parties, fandoms, viral trends. Each one is an energy field you can enter and exit, but most people never notice the moment they stopped thinking for themselves and started thinking for the collective. The signs that you are inside one are subtle. You feel certain without having reasoned your way there. You feel tribal without choosing the tribe consciously. You feel the pull to defend something as though it were your own flesh. The way out is to know precisely who you are beneath every label you carry. Catch yourself in the moments when your reactions feel automatic and ask, is this mine or is this an egregor speaking through me? And spend time in nature, the one environment, no collective frequency, has been deliberately engineered to capture your attention inside. Because the most sovereign thing a human being can do in a world of engineered consensus is to stop, question the impulse, and ask, is this thought actually mine?
So Tallahassee, Florida, Lake Jackson, gone. Lakes disappeared. Is it global warming? No. Is it drought? No. Is it anything? No. A sinkhole opened in the middle of the lake and drained all the water, all the fish, everything. The lake's just gone. It just drank the lake, this sinkhole. The whole lake has completely disappeared. Now, what causes a sinkhole beneath a lake? I don't know. Unless there's mining going on. We've all seen that happen before. Half a town got sucked down a sinkhole and the lake because miners underneath an assault mine had drilled too close to the bottom of the lake and caused the entire lake to drain into the mine. But this time it's just a random sinkhole. As far as we know, there's no mines or anything around there. And this sinkhole has drank the entire T of Lake Jackson.
Now that would make more sense as to why there's so many alligators just walking around all willy-nilly in Florida, right? Because there's no water in the lakes. Well, you guys, that's another one in the books, man. Hey, I appreciate you guys for always stopping by, watching, and learning with me. If you haven't already, let's go ahead and run up 5,000 likes. Hit that hype button and go ahead and sub up if you're not already a part of the iTrack fan, man. And I will definitely catch you on the next one.